Alright! Pull up your socks, roll up your sleeves. It's time to get active with Radioactive 90.4 megahertz. Get active!
Hello, this is Preeti. The Preeti Bhuyan talk show is a platform to speak out your mind. I feel every person has something wonderful and unique inside their mind which may be worth listening and it may be motivate or inspire others. Preeti's talk is about fitness, inspiration, motivation, sharing knowledge and celebrating womanhood. Stay tuned, stay connected. This is Preeti with loads of love. Welcome to the Preeti Bhuyan Talk Show. I bring people here in front of you who has something beautiful in their mind, in their heart, which may motivate or inspire you, or maybe it's worth listening. I am the host Preeti Bhuyan. Today I have with me Myra Martin, who is going to talk about parenting. When the kids born, actually a parent born, I can say that.
Good morning, Preeti. Nice to be with you again here. And I'm really happy that we're discussing a very important topic, parenting, right? You just said that. We are a parent the moment the child is born.
Yes.
Absolutely right, Preeti. But have we ever considered that children just come through us? They are not our property. We all need
that
to
is
understand
we
this.
hardly some people, some parent only believe that. Mostly we parent feel that we have made them born and they are our property. We behave like that. We treat actually like that. So what?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that is just a notion we have because we tend to think what comes from us is ours. We possess it. Yes, to some extent we do. Let's go back to the term parenting. What is parenting? It is a process of taking care of our children until they are old enough to take care of themselves. That is parenting. So yes, we do certain things for our kids to raise them. The word raise, I'd like to repeat here, is a word we all need to give importance to. It is not just giving birth and say, I'm a parent today. And whatever I say, you have to listen to me because you know what? I was born much before you. That's not parenting. But most of us do it. Probably even I do it, probably even you do it sometimes. We tell our children, do this and do that and do that. And we feel we are the boss.
You have to get time. You
Exactly,
have to obey my order.
exactly. But have we ever considered what we are doing to the child then? We are actually telling the kids in a very nice manner that I'm the boss because I came many years before you. So you like it or not, you have to just listen to me. This is exactly where we are going wrong, all of us. Okay. So I want to start my talk today saying that we have a few rules, small rules, which I think if all of us start adhering to, it will make a big impact on our children's life. To begin with, children need a friend. I'm not saying become friends with your kids. No, there has to be a line drawn, but they need a friend more than a boss in the house.
Okay.
So when I say be a friend, have an open door communication with your kids. You should instill in your children that no matter what, you must come and talk to me. Now, if you tell them that, you got to come back and tell me everything that happens in your school. You got to tell me everything you do with your friends. They are not going to do it. But you should talk to them as a friend and share with them, maybe through your experiences.
Or maybe you have to make that environment at home.
Yes. You have to talk to them and tell them, I have stories to share about, when I was naughty, when I bunked college, when I didn't want to go to school and I made up stories and say, oh, I have a stomachache, I'm not going to school today, mom. I've done it too. Even I was there at your age. So we do these things. So you got to share with your child, they got to feel that my mom, my dad was also like me one time. That's when you break the ice with your kid, and that's when they're going to become comfortable to share with you. Do it as a friend, like I just said, okay? So have a communication, nourish, instill in them certain habits, certain principles, certain ideas where you are not just feeding a human being and making her or him grow up, but you are raising them. We all want our kids to be better than us, don't we?
Yes.
So, from our experiences, from our mistakes, let us reform Let us find more tactful ways of dealing with our children. So that is the first point I would say, be a friend. I would like to go on and say, spend quality time with your children. You know, buying our children expensive gifts and taking them for expensive holidays once a year is one thing. You know, yeah, you want to do it with your family for memories. That's great. But I think more than all that, your child will outgrow the money you spent on them. Your child will outgrow the toys you bought for them. But your child will not outgrow the experiences they shared with you. And for that to happen, you got to spend a lot of time with your children. As much as you can. Yes, today's day and age, husband and wife both work in most cases.
True.
For compulsory measures, there are also some people who do it out of choice. Irrespective of what your reasons are, make sure that you spend quality time with your children because they need it. Shower unconditional love. You know, what is unconditional love? It shouldn't be that if you do this, I do this. If you do that, I do that. If I do this, you do this. It should not have terms and conditions. It should be a love that you're showing them that, you know, you're my child.
They should feel
I'm here to
comfortable
yes.
within your arm.
I'm here to protect you. I'm here to nurture you. So give that kind of feeling to the child that, you know, it's everything is not measured with a give and a take. It should be sometimes for no reasons. I love my child for no reason. And the same will come back to you. They will love you unconditionally, not because you're buying them gifts, not because you're taking them on holidays, but their love will be manifested in a different way. It'll be more like respect for you. And when your child starts respecting you and trusting you, that's when your child is going to consider you as a good, positive guide. I think we're all aiming at that. We all want to guide our
Yes,
children.
that is what we need.
Yes. But I have a lot of friends and people I hear saying that, you know, my children don't listen to me. It's a fact. I think we all experience
That is what
it.
I was about to ask you. After showering so much of love, you know, every mother loves her child like anything. But still, some kids does mistake. Some kids not, you know, if it is every time, you know, mother is a mother. She loves her kids, her children unconditionally. But apart from that also, some child, they are out of control. How to deal with that?
Children who are out of control, well, that is quite mind-boggling.
Yes.
You know, Preeti, as you know, we all have teenage kids and it's a total challenge for all of us. You know, there are times when I also feel sometimes, you know, we have to go back to the classroom and, you know, figure out why our children behave the way they do and the kind of responses we get from them. But I think we were the same.
Maybe. Till some extent.
We were, if you actually look
but
back.
we forgot. We forgot because
so they'll forget too.
time passed.
And
yes.
we've turned out pretty okay.
Yes.
Why? Because it's all about a learning process. That's why I just said to you, unconditional love could be not buying your child an expensive, you know, toy or
Gift
a pair of
maybe.
shoes, but just a hug and a kiss. A warm feeling that, you know, I'm here for you and I'm always here for you. And, you know, wow. Everything, like I said, doesn't have to be materialistically manifested. You know, it can be done with small deeds of kindness, a gesture of love, where the child feels, oh, my parents love me. Okay, it's not just about gadgets and gifts. That's not love. That's just providing. I mean, they're going to outgrow all of that one day. Now, another important point, when you said sometimes our children don't listen to us, right? Well, that is, if I go back to my childhood, I hardly listened to my parents too. I mean, I'm openly saying it. Not as a bad example, but just to tell you that, end of the day, each one of us does what we feel is right, what we feel is wrong.
Wrong.
Okay, we choose. It's the difference here lies in, will your child choose what will work for him? Or will your child choose something that doesn't work for him? Okay, that's a choice we're talking about, right?
Right.
So when you talk about guiding your child, Like I said earlier, if we sit like a boss and say, you got to take these subjects in college, you got to become an engineer, you got to become a pilot, you got to become a doctor. In our family, we have only doctors, we have only this, we have only that. If you start instilling this in the child will not connect with you. Because you are telling your child very, submissively that, we don't have time to listen to you and what you want. This is what we want. You know what you're doing in that case? You are basically looking at your child as an investment. When my child was born, I took care, I educated, I did all of this because one day he'll become a doctor and he's going to pay me back. That's not what we should do. We have to guide the kids more on, instead of telling the child, do this and don't do that, we should tell the child, if you do this, these are the consequences. But if you do that, those are the consequences. Now, which one makes more sense to you? Let the child think for themselves. I think that is where there will be a much better reaction from your kid, and there'll be less scope of you losing your child. Let them realize all children from very young want a little bit of responsibility given to them.
They
and
like
the
it.
best responsibility you can give your kid is what? You tell me. Take care of as much as you can of yourself and what you want to do. The rest I will do for you.
Okay.
So then the kid starts feeling, okay, my parents are telling me that, if I do this, this is what I get. If I do that, this is what I get. What do I want? That's when they will start identifying what they want to be, what they want to become. I think that is a better way of guiding your child than putting your finger out and saying, do this, don't do that. This is what I can say. So to all of you who are listening in, please understand, we've all been there, we've all done that. Haven't we?
Yes.
So now sit back, watch your children grow, but constantly, you got to constantly watch them and guide them. But before you start guiding, they should trust you. Trust is the most important. Because if they don't trust their parents, if they feel their parents are just dictators at home, they will resort to friends. And how do you know
They're good or bad?
their friends are doing the right thing or the wrong thing? And when your child starts rebelling and going to friends instead of you, then you know it is not your child who's at fault. You have gone wrong in some way. Simple. They don't trust you.
True.
Why don't they trust you? You don't understand them. So understand, trust your child. These are just small little things we can do to help our children stand up on their own.
Right. So here is I have a question, Myra. Recently in some study, I studied that strict mother raise disciplined child. What is your point of view on that?
How strict was that mother, Preeti?
No idea. You cannot measure it.
Okay.
There was a study showing that strict mother raise, disciplined child. So, different mother has a different opinion. What is your opinion about it?
I won't say a strict mother. I would say a mother would raise a disciplined child. A mother.
Okay.
No conditions put to the mother. Your mother takes care of you from the day you come into this world, okay? So she knows to some extent the things that work for you and the things that don't work for you. Let's go to the basic needs, okay? Let's cross that. Now you know what I'm talking about, when you need to be fed, cleaned, etc., etc. Now as a child is growing up, the mother needs to understand the needs of a child are going to change, okay? And her responsibility to nurture those needs are more important. So being strict and disciplinary, a little bit, you need to. But not to an extent where your child is going to look up at you as, a policeman. Then you are indirectly telling your child that, you cannot be trusted. I can't leave anything to you. You're not responsible. I have to check everything you do. I have to make sure you're doing the right thing. So how responsible will your child become? How disciplined will your child become?
Right.
So the word strict doesn't work these days, Preeti. Yeah, maybe many, many years ago, decades ago, things were different. Life has changed, right? Drastically.
True.
So come on. I think today, with the way the world has changed, we cannot expect our children to always listen to us. we instead have to migrate to our children's world and what they are at today, so that we can rise to the occasions. We can be able to suffice what they need.
True. Very nice.
So, be a role model instead.
Okay.
Okay, now when you said being strict, the mother being strict, yeah, maybe she was a strict mother those days. Hitler, always standing, why you late, why you not eating, you're supposed to sleep only so many hours. Probably at one point of time it worked a little bit. We don't know how much, but today it doesn't make sense at all. What when you're not there? Will the child do what you taught him to do?
Definitely they will not do. But
He
maybe,
will rebel.
Yes.
Because he will think, she will think that when my mother was there, she's my mother, so I have to look up to her, the place she occupied in the home, and I had to just do whatever my mom said, whether I liked it or not. I'm a human being too. Don't I have my own preferences and choices? Don't I have my own feelings, moods, emotions? I may not want to do something when she says I need to do it. So, when she's not around, I rebel, I don't do it. Because then I'm in control now. I can do what I want. So we are not trying to bring up our children that when they are in front of us, they are, all yes, yes. And then when you're not around, they turn their backs and flee. Do you want those kind of children?
That is not, obviously not.
Not. So be a role model. Now the strict mother could be not, I won't say strict. I would say first the mother and father need to discipline themselves. They need to be disciplined. They need to be responsible. They need to be reliable. So when they do that, the child is seeing and learning through example, learning through observation. Like they say, observation is the best teacher.
Yeah.
So when a
as you said,
child
true.
observes his mother and his father, the way they conduct themselves, the way they interact, the way they respond, react, the
They
child
follow
is
more.
going to follow it.
Yes, they follow.
Why would they not follow it? Because that's what they are seeing all the time, right? So when the child is coming up front with you all the time and seeing you and watching you and you are giving good examples, wouldn't your child pick that up?
Definitely they'll pick that.
So
True.
let us change ourselves. I think parenting is about the parent coming forward, understanding the needs of the day. What does my child need today? For whatever reasons, coming to terms with it, accepting it, and therefore addressing it. That is what parenting is all about. We have been given these, as we say, a child is a gift from God, right? Don't we all believe that? So we have the gift. How do we turn it out? Very important.
Very important.
It's very important.
So that is the today's main concern is a parenting. How to raise them in the competitive world. See, why we parents are, we love them. Why we are concerned. We are becoming strict. Why we are having intention, having lot of issues. Because we want to see them successful in our future. That's the reason. That's the, worry. Maybe my child will not be able to, keep a step tomorrow. That's a maybe concern. That is that concern, how to convey towards the child. That makes us worry. And maybe that is the reason we are, becoming strict, where we are not able to understand our child. Or I know every child have different capabilities. We cannot scale them. We cannot rate them in a same manner. Yes, every child have different capabilities, qualities. As a parent, how to understand, how to support them.
Everyone has capabilities, sure. More important is exercising that capability. How do you exercise it? How would I exercise getting my child to listen to me like I just said? That's again, I'm telling you, it's a very close communication you need to have with your child. The constant talking. Talk to your children, because when you have a constant talking, that's when your child will express. That's when you are able to identify what is in this child, where will he succeed. You said success, right? Where will this child succeed? Everybody is not cut out to become a doctor or an engineer.
True.
There are a lot of creative people around who can do big things with their lives, but we tend to tell our children that, take this up. Why do we do this? We are looking out for them. We are worried, today's trend is engineering, for example, IT. My child, if he doesn't get into IT, what will he do? How will he earn his living? An IT job, if he grows in it, he will do very well.
Yes, first because it maybe why it happens maybe because we are there in my age. Still I am stuck there. I have not upgraded myself in today's world. That is the maybe reason we are worried.
That's exactly why I said we have to transport ourselves to today's modern age. Today, with the opportunities, the exposure at the tips of your fingers, our children sitting at home get involved in a lot of things, right? Now, good or bad doesn't matter, but they get involved. See, this good, bad, we cannot tag it all the time. What's good to you may not be good to me. What's bad to me may not be bad to you. So we cannot say that this is good and it's bad, whether it works for your child or not. I mean, we cannot pressurize our kids and say that, do this because it's going to give you this. My daughter turns around and tells me, Mom, that's the way you look at it, but that's not the way I look at it. And then I think, what a fool I am. I expect my daughter, today's day and age, to
See in my
see through my perspective. Why can't I see through her perspective? Because this is the day we're living in. We're not living in my age, we're living in her age, in their age. So all parents today, if you get out of your shoes and start looking at your kids with a different perspective as to, okay, where are we? 21st century. Okay, now what's happening in the 21st century? Yes, get involved and then look around and say, yes, my kids are in this world. They have to do what is appropriate now, not what I did. Everybody wants a stable and secure future. That's all we're looking at. But after the stable future, what are we looking at? More. See, wants never,
needs
end.
never end. Yes.
Needs are one thing. Wants, desires, more and more and more. Okay. So what I feel that, my child needs to earn so much when he is at this age. My child may not even look at it that way. He might look at it as, I want to do this. I don't need to earn so much. He may or may not. I'm not saying all children are the same. So we look at success from a different angle. We are looking at more from the materialistic world as to, will my child be able to stand on his feet at this age, feed himself and shelter himself? Our kids are looking at it from a different perspective. They look at it saying, at this age, I want to be doing this because I don't need to worry about a home and food. My father's already provided for it. Do you not get that from your children? Yes. We have children saying, why do I need to worry about buying a house, Mom? Dad's already bought a house. And Dad already said he's going to make me another house. Now, that's when we need to really wake up and consider for ourselves not to give children that comfort zone where they are going to become lazy. They need to understand that they need to do things for themselves and they need to build their futures. So like I started saying, we have to guide them because that is what we need to do. Yes, we need to guide them, telling them that, like I said earlier, if you do this, this is what you get. If you do this, this is what you get. So the repercussions are always there. So how fruitful, how successful your child turns out will entirely depend on what you put in front of your children, what you made them realize. Okay? Whether they are responding, whether they are connecting to what you are saying, that is more important. That is parenting. Don't push your children over the edge. Please understand them. Let them trust you, and then they will surely consider you as a good guide. And that's what we all want. So please, parents, I would like to end on this piece of advice. Especially, I take this opportunity, Preeti, to go one step ahead. We are all right now on the exam fever mode, aren't we?
Yes.
With the
that is
board
what my question is. That is what I wanted to ask you actually. Exam time is going on. It's a fever for everybody. More than kids, we have a fever. Our parents, our mother has a more tension, fever. How to deal with it?
To start with, I'll say, when the children's exams are on, I say it's my exams.
Yes, that
because
is what
I'm
happens.
so involved with the children. It's like I'm doing my exams all over again. So all I can say right now with reference to the exams, help your kid to cope with stress. And how do we do that? Small little tips,
More than children, we are stressed actually. Our parents are more stressed than our
be
children.
the role model, Preeti. We just talked about it. So let us think for 2 minutes that, okay, it's my kid's exam. Let me detach a little bit. It's her exam, his exam. Why am I getting so involved and stressing myself and in return stressing the child? Don't do that. Let me look at my kid and say, well, I'm here to help you. I'll stay up with you. I'll make you your coffee, your milk. I'll do all of that. But it's your project. You got to do it. Okay? And detach a little. Detach a little. I think that's so important because we are actually hindering our children mentally when we keep saying, take your books, take your books. What have you not done today? Have you been studying enough? You know what we are doing? We are creating a fear in their mind. So I think we first have to sit back and say, well, I'm going to trust my kid. Let him do his best. Let her do her best. We'll see what works out. What's the worst? They don't make it. Redo it. Redo it. There's no harm in redoing if you have to.
True.
Yeah. Instead of hindering yourself and them. So small tip. Let them take small breaks during their study hours. Okay. Let them have small entertainment. I mean, maybe watch a serial they like or spend a little time on the phone or go out for a bit. That relaxes the mind. And let them set up their own study schedules. There are some parents who are so bossy around children's academics. They actually make the timetable for the child and the child is suffocated. Do you think you're helping your child? Do you think you're helping your child?
That is what we need to understand.
We can't do that. We cannot make a timetable. I do not know. I tell, for example, I'll share something personal. I tell my daughter, just show me your timetable and tell me how far you're going. Every day I check on her. Are you comfortable? How is the revision going? Etc. I cannot tell her you have to spend so many hours doing this subject and this subject because she tells me I know best how much time I have to put into each. So I say go ahead. It's her preparation. We support it. We can't prepare for them. Okay? This needs to be understood. So stop demanding you have to get this grade because your child may be good in English, may not be good in math, may be good in science, may not be good in the arts. We can't force a child to be good in every subject, right? If that was possible, wouldn't you be having one teacher teaching all subjects?
That's true.
So, it means your brain has the affinity towards certain things and certain things your brain doesn't like. The preferences are not there. They want to expel it. But yes, we do have criterion. You have to do all these subjects till your 10th, then you get to choose a little more in your 12th, and then by college, you just, specialize in what your interests are. That's why the education system is like that. But we are also aware our Indian education system is very dogmatic. It is very stressful because they put so much of importance in things that are really not important. I think channelizing at a much earlier stage where the child gets to choose what they would like to pursue, maybe from their 9th standard, would be very helpful to our children. It will really help our children grow in every way. You got to have time for everything. It's not just sit and mug. It's not just sitting and studying. But then that's what we are all going through right now. And we can't change the education system. So the only way I can help my child is I tell them straight, well, the subjects you're good at,
Right.
do your best in that. And the subjects you're not so good at, give your best. More time,
Right.
so that you can comfortably move ahead. It doesn't block you. Okay? So be supportive. Talk to your children. Okay? They need it, especially now, because if they have mental blocks, you know what it leads to.
That's
All over the world today, what is the concern of the youth?
Right.
Too much of pressure. You have children taking to all the antisocial habits, ruining their futures, ruining their lives. And of course, which goes without saying today, what is the major concern? Children want to just end it all. If they feel that I'm in a system where I have no hope and I have parents who are driving me there, not easing my tension, not easing my pressures, not giving me time to breathe. I don't need this life. And then everybody ends towards suicidal natures, which is a very common thing today with youngsters. So let us not drive our kids there. Let us consider our children. They are ours, of course. We want to nurture them. It's about nurturing. It's not about wasting. It's not about destroying. So the good way to go about parenting is nurture.
True.
Don't destroy. Don't break, make. And tomorrow, if we all sit back and consider these small little things, I think we are raising healthy, positive human beings. That's all I can say to this. And I hope that this little chat we've had, Preeti, is going to, throw light onto this major concern. And we should also rise graciously and allow our children to be raised sensibly.
That's true. Listening to Myra today, I did not have words. I hardly spoke. I was listening only Myra, as I also have a son who is appearing board exam. I was having tension more than him, and he used to say me, Mama, I'll do it, you don't worry. But still, as a mother, I have more tension than him because I am concerned about his future. But yes, listening to Myra, I felt, yes, I yet to know a lot of things about parenting again. Maybe we need to support, as Myra said, going back with positive thought, positive vibes from Myra, and thank Myra being here with me today. I am privileged that she has given her time to speak to me regarding parenting and about the exam stress.
Thank you, Preeti. It was a privilege. I hope that everyone who's listened just remembers a few things I said. It will surely make a big difference in your child's life.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
This is Preeti from the Preeti Bhuyan Talk Show with Radioactive 90.4 MHz. If you have any suggestion or want to share your own incredible story, you can reach us out on Facebook, Insta, Twitter and YouTube. Until next time, this is Preeti. Keep listening, keep loving, keep inspiring.
It's for the community.
It's by the community.
It's our radio.
Community radio. Radioactive 90.4 megahertz.
Get active. And check this out.